Hey guys, this is Haley, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I catch my rabbits. I've had a lot of people message me or comment on my videos just saying that they want to clip their rabbit's nails or they need to brush their rabbit, but it takes so long to try to catch them and it's such a hassle that sometimes they just don't do it. So I wanted to make this video because I think it's very important for rabbit owners to know how to do this, and they should be doing it on a regular basis. As many of you guys know, rabbits hate to be held and carried. This is due to the fact that they are prey animals, which when they feel themselves being lifted off the ground, their instincts kicked in, and it pretty much tells them that a predator is taking them away to be eaten. And obviously the rabbits start to squirm or run away because they don't want that to happen. Obviously some rabbits are better with being handled than others, so this scale does vary. There are many different ways people personally catch their bunnies or pick them up, but I just thought I'd show you my personal way as it seems to work for me, and I figured if people are having issues, maybe they could try it this way and see if it works. If you have a way that works for you, by all means continue doing it. I'm not going to be focusing a ton on how to handle your bunny, like how to carry them, as I do have previous videos that I cover this topic. Basically, you just want to make sure you're supporting them properly, never pick them up by the scruff, and never hold them upside down. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how I do this. Alright, so if you have a cage type setup, or even if your rabbit is free roam, the main thing you want to try and do is limit the area they can run around in. This will just make it easier for you to be able to catch and pick up your bunny. Some bunnies are very sensitive, like Stirling, and know exactly when you are going to pick them up and are already scared and kind of hiding. So the main thing I'm going to do is try to block off this ramp area so that they are not able to go down into the pen. So I'm just going to grab this little maze haven and kind of stick it right here so that they're not able to get down there. This also helps because they can't go and hide in the hidey house, which is something rabbits like to do. They like to go and hide and get away. It's just their nature. So then I'm going to go ahead and lift up this other hidey house and just set it on the floor so that they don't go and hide in there. Now they're kind of just running around, as you can see, and this makes it a lot easier for me to get at them. So first I'm going to just try to slowly pet them, and if they kind of hop away, that's fine. Just kind of go over here. This is probably like the worst area for you guys to be able to see. It's okay. These things do come down on my cage, so I could do that if I wanted. So as you can see, Ebony was just in that corner, so I was able to pick her up very easily. So she did grunt. She's a very vocal bunny, and some bunnies are just more vocal than others. So yep, I'm just gonna set her down on the ground. So she's done. And then with Stirling, I'm just gonna do the same thing. Just gonna let him kind of go. So as you guys can see, Stirling is doing something called submitting. There's a lot of different reasons a rabbit would go into a submissive pose, but one of them is because they're basically saying, okay, you win, you can pick me up. So some rabbits, all rabbits will do this if you kind of like chase them around long enough, but some rabbits like Stirling go into a submissive pose very, very quickly, and he's just a very submissive bunny. So when a rabbit does this, they basically will just sit there with their head down and wait for you to pick them up. So he kind of moved on me, but he's right over here behind this bar, so he's very easy to pick up if you get him into this submissive position. I know it's kind of hard to see him behind the cage bars, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick him up. So there is Stirling. I'm just supporting him, his hind legs with my elbow and his front legs with my arm. This is kind of how I hold my rabbits one-handed, kind of like a football, I guess you could call it. But then I also can do it two-handed, but he doesn't prefer that, so I'm just gonna keep him up here. So as you can see, their eyes are normally very wide when they're picked up. Even if they're not squirming, it doesn't mean they enjoy being picked up. A lot of the times people will say, oh, my bunny loves it. But what they don't see is the body language, the rapid sniffing of the nose, which is kind of like a nervous breathing, wide eyes, which is something they do when they're scared. Yeah, so there's a lot of signs to show that he is nervous right now, besides kicking and squirming, which he doesn't always do, but sometimes he will. So that is how I catch Stirling. As you can see, each bunny is going to be very, very different. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I pick up and catch Lulu. I know this might seem like I've gotten them fairly easily, but you have to realize that I do this quite regularly with my bunnies, so I am quite used to it. It might take you up to 10 minutes the first time to catch your bunny, but as time goes on, you'll learn little tricks to pick them up easier and faster. So he's getting tired, so I'm gonna go ahead and put him down. So like I mentioned, you do want to give your bunnies a treat after you pick them up. As you can see, I just picked them up and they're still very excited for their treats, so they know that they were a good job. Oops, you dropped it, Ebony. There you go. There you go. So I just have some dried papaya here, and or pineapple, sorry. And that's what they're eating. So now I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I pick up Lulu. She is a little bit easier just because she is almost 9 years old, and it makes bunnies a little bit more slow and they don't run around quite as much as younger bunnies. So she's actually quite easy to catch. She also loves to be pet, so what I do is I simply just start petting her like this, and sometimes she'll hide if she knows that I'm coming to pick her up, but because I just had some treats out, I think she doesn't realize that I was gonna pick her up. So after I've done petting her for a little bit, I just go ahead and grab her front legs and her hind legs and pick her up. So this is kind of how I hold her as well. I just kind of tuck her hind legs back here and her front legs are under my hand, and then I kind of protect them with this hand like this. If your bunny is a squirmer, a good thing to do, oh, she just bit me. So some bunnies will bite, but that was just a nip, so she didn't even bite down. But anyways, if your bunny is squirmy, you can cover their head up with your shirt like this. They're still able to breathe through there, so it isn't an issue, and especially if you are just walking a short distance, it won't matter. But that was really helpful for Stirling in the beginning, as he had quite a bad history with being picked up and being dropped, so he was quite nervous at first, so I would always cover his eyes up when I was holding him. You can also just do this if you'd like, but sometimes I find that a little bit more difficult. So yeah, that is just kind of how I do it, and she's biting my finger again. You are so mean. Ow! Okay, I'll put you down. So just a few quick tips is, one, like I previously mentioned, rabbits hate to be catched and picked up. Because of this, most likely they are going to run away from you, and this often causes some stress as you feel bad that you kind of have to chase your rabbit to pick them up. However, this is why I personally don't recommend picking your rabbit up unless you have to, such as grooming purposes, taking them to the vet. You want to avoid, if possible, picking them up daily for playtime activities or anything like this, simply because that's extra stress that your rabbit doesn't need. For those of you who are having difficulties getting your rabbit in and out of a playtime area, a good rule of thumb is to have the playtime area attached to the cage so that they can run in and out freely. If your rabbit is a free-range bunny, either in a room or an entire house, you can literally use the same method. If your rabbit has several rooms that they are free-range in, just close the door to the current room your rabbit's in, just to make a smaller area for you to be able to catch your bunny. Once your rabbit is in that room, basically the same methods apply, as my rabbit cages are very, very large, so it's basically like a room. Another thing is to always give your bunny a treat after you pick them up. This just helps them kind of recover a little bit, as they will be kind of grumpy. If you have a very cage aggressive rabbit, I do recommend trying to only pick them up when they are not inside of their cage. This can be a little bit difficult, so sometimes it's not manageable. However, if you do have a cage territorial rabbit, it might be a good idea to open up their door and let them hop out into a penned off area, and then close the door of their cage and pick them up while they're in that pen area. This just helps with a rabbit who has difficulty feeling secure in their cage. However, personally with my bunnies, they don't have an issue with me going in and out of their cage anymore, so I can just go in and pick my rabbits up straight out of the cage. This tends to be easier for me simply because they don't have a ton of places to run away from me. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you have any further questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I will try my best to answer them. Again, this is just my personal way of catching a rabbit and holding them. Of course, there are many different methods people may use. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you very soon on a new video. Bye! However, if your rabbit is caged